A lot of workshops, speak at seminars, a lot of speaking engagements. What do you find? I'm sure that when you're finished, you speak to some of the people that attended. What do you find in the general questions is something that they you would think that they would know more about, but they don't? Or common concern?
I think the common concern lately, believe it or not, is contesting wills. I think people are really out there. I mean, that was the last seminar we did. That
Absolutely.
Just seemed to be the big attack.
And
how do I
contest? Or
how do I contest it?
Okay.
What do I need to do? I'm not satisfied with the way it was set up, and that I was only left a certain portion, or I wasn't left enough. And I think a lot of people are so misguided at the fact that just because you have a relationship with the person, and just because the person tells you, "I love you very much, and I want to leave you everything," if you're not next in line to get it and the person passes away with no will, you're not going to receive it. We have a situation in an office with one of the personal injury cases where this man passed away, and he has no family that we know of except a best friend and his daughter. And the best friend's daughter called us up and says, I'm supposed to be getting everything, my father's supposed to be getting everything, but we got a letter from you asking for relatives and stuff. There's only one relative. It's the brother who never comes around, and I'm not giving you his name. And he never was there. He never even came to the funeral. We don't know where he's located, but we're supposed to get everything. That's the big, thing that people just don't understand. That I understand he wanted to leave you everything, but unfortunately the law says something completely different. And unless he left you a will, unless he left a will with that stating inside the will, we need to find this brother.
It's amazing. It's so simple to not have that problem. Just have a piece of paper and state your intentions.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
And the old adage, you really don't know someone until you have to share an inheritance with them. So.
That's a big deal too. And I think too, with a lot of even husbands, wives, and children, everyone just assumes that, and I hate to use that word, but that the husband's going to get everything. And there are a lot of husband and wives out there, especially nowadays, that do not have joint accounts. And if you are not the beneficiary on that account, you are not entitled to the whole 100%. I mean, there's some legalese here and there that you work around with the law, the first $50,000, et cetera, but your children can be inheriting part of this estate. Just draft a will. Just draft a will.
Well, you know why?
Settle everything.
Why do you think people don't have wills? Or most people who need them.
Who need them, or just to have one?
Why do you think the average person, let's say a couple in their 30s, they have a couple of small, young children, and they don't want. We're in our 30s. So why would we have a will?
Two biggest things. One, I don't think I have enough money that I need to draft a will. And two, nothing bad's ever going to happen to me.
Not for a long time.
Right.
It's not an issue right now in my life.
Right. It's and after 9/11, we were I kind of thought that a lot of eyes were going to open up, and a lot did to that it can happen to anybody, young, old. It can happen to anybody. But I just think people just don't see the big picture. And the biggest thing that you get with people with young children is, oh, don't worry, my mother will take the children. Meanwhile, the husband's sitting there going, what about my side of the family? And then the fight starts.
Yeah, sure.
And if you think the fight's happening now, could you imagine what would happen if, God forbid, you passed away? Then you're having it duked out in court. So it gets very sticky.
Which is bad for everybody.
Which is worse for everybody.
I've always said to people who, whenever I come across somebody, a friend or even somebody in business who doesn't have a will, and they always say, I don't want to think about that. So, the beauty of it is once you have a will, you don't have to think about it.
Right.
Until you have one, you're always going to think about it. Maybe we should have a will.
Well, I did for a lot of my friends for their christening presents. As I told them, when you're ready, part of your present is, I'm going to draft your will. And the first couple of people, they were like, huh? And then it was like this big thing. What do you mean you're not going to draft my will for my christening? They were all like, if I got to put it down. Everybody wants that now because they realize they have a child. Doesn't matter how much assets you have a child. Get that guardian in place.
Absolutely.